from warm places, myself being from LA, how do they get into winter sports? We at least have mountains, but I couldn't imagine people from Texas or even especially Florida. How do they get into that?
I have no idea. I always assume like the racing type sports like bobsled and things like that, maybe they race other things, cars, bikes, something like that, and just kind of, I don't know. I'm shooting in the dark here. All right, let's take a look here. 70 today. I wanted to show you that because, again, it was another day above the averages. Yes, we had a few days where we were below the averages, but we jumped right back up today under those sunny skies, and the return of those south winds did start off at 30, a little on the cooler side there, of course. But again, this number right here, we talked about this yesterday. The fact that we haven't had measurable rainfall basically for the entire month of December is kind of put us behind the eight ball a little bit. Again, we were above, obviously had a very wet summer, but again, the fall and the beginning of the winter kind of sunk us in terms of the rainfall. Wanted to show you this too. It is December 31st, which means we are putting a little bit of a bow on the month of December. Tell you this, as we moved into December, people kept asking, you know, what are we looking at for winter? I said, well, it's probably going to be a little bit warmer than average because of La Nina conditions. And tell you what, after the first week of the month, I was not feeling good about that prediction. But then, yeah, 19 days above averages, including 4 records set just in the last couple of weeks here for heat records. So again, a very warm middle and end of the month, but again, we did start off on the chilly side and did have just a couple of cold days there with that cold front that came through over the course of the weekend. So we end the month about 6 degrees above where we should be for a typical December. Out there right now, still very mild here in the 5 o'clock hour, mid-60s across central Texas, a couple of areas close to 70 degrees. And as you're heading out to your New Year's Eve festivities, this is what you can expect. Okay, so as we head towards 7 o'clock, we'll be in the upper 50s. There will fall a little bit over the next couple of hours. And then as your party starts to really get going there towards 9, 10 o'clock, you'll see temperatures fall into the middle and lower 50s, basically area-wide. So we'll call it mild. It's not necessarily cold when you're talking about the 50s, but again, you might want a little bit of a light jacket as you're heading out tonight. And then, of course, as we get closer and closer to actually ringing in the new year, as the ball is dropping in Times Square in New York City here at 11 o'clock, Central Time, we'll be seeing temperatures there in the lower 50s, and then by midnight when we're ringing in the new year, we'll see some areas starting to fall into the 40s. So again, it is going to be on the cooler side, but I'm not going to call it terribly, terribly cold, especially compared to what we've seen the last couple of nights when we've seen those temperatures routinely fall into the 30s through the overnight hours. As you're heading home from your festivities, again, mid-40s, upper 40s, again, cool, but not necessarily terribly, terribly cold across central Texas. By the time you wake up tomorrow morning, some areas could fall back into the 30s, but I've got widespread lower 40s across central Texas for tomorrow morning. First day of the year, we'll start off on the warm side, a little bit warmer than it was today. We hit 70 today. We're going to shoot for about 75 tomorrow and stay in those kind of middle 70s across most of central Texas as well. Here's your 3-day forecast. So again, for New Year's Day, 73. Want to show you this, 81. We saw all those records we set in December. How about we start off the new year with a record too? Record for January 2nd is 80. If we hit 81, obviously that would be a new record. We do have a cold front coming through by the weekend, but this one's going to be fairly weak. You can see even behind the front, temperatures statewide staying in the 50s for the overnight hours and then staying right around 70 degrees for Friday, Saturday, Sunday afternoon. So again, with that in mind, yes, we have a front coming through. No, it is not going to do the same thing that the last front did, where we dropped below freezing for a couple of mornings there Sunday and Monday. In terms of the rest of your 7-day forecast, again, we'll see temperatures kind of slide between those 70s and 60s. A little bit of an up and down roller coaster ride effect here as we have a couple of fronts that we'll be watching, but for the most part, we'll see temperatures staying a little bit above those averages on through the next 7 days. And remember, you can stream your forecast anytime by downloading our 6 Plus app.